This could also lead into, are you going to write your book in the first person or the third person? Or whose point of view you're going to write it from? Are you going to switch from chapter to chapter? Again, you'll know. You'll know by the third or fourth or fifth chapter if it should be in the first person, if it should be in the third person, or if you should actually give different characters, different chapters. So again, if it doesn't feel natural, if it doesn't feel right, if something's jarring, it's not working. Go back and start again. I've done written books in the first person and the third person, and actually the last book I wrote was 3 different voices in the first person. And I wasn't sure if that was going to work either. I don't know. I think that it feels right or it feels wrong, basically. And sometimes you need to step back a little bit from your character, and then I write in the third person. And sometimes I feel like the voice is screaming out of my head and it has to be the first person. So again, it's about feeling, do I feel comfortable with this voice? Is this working? Or is it is it hard going? Like I recently wrote a book in the third person, and it was kind of hard going the whole way through. I felt there was a lot of pressure on that third person voice, and I am now rewriting it in the first person, and it just feels much more comfortable. So you just have to do what feels right, and if it doesn't feel right, it's wrong.
My advice is to write in the past tense in the third person. That makes your life simplest. But books aren't necessarily amenable to rules. Actually, rule number 1 is there are no rules. But you know, because sometimes you think, oh, I should write this in the past tense, but it will just insist on writing itself because it's an unruly child who won't do what it's told in the present tense, and you just have to go along with that. There is also something else to be said. I mean, these are all various things that people need to bear in mind. There's nothing wrong with a tryout, and there's nothing wrong with a rehearsal, and there's nothing wrong with doing things, exercises if you like, that get you into the zone. So quite often I'll be noodling and thinking I want to write something. I have an idea, characters, time, period, etc. We'll come on to research in a moment, but I'm not really there. The fish is nosing at the end of the hook, but I haven't, snagged it yet. So I sit down and I will write something in the first person. I'll take one of the characters, get them to tell their story. And maybe, a few pages, maybe 30, 40 pages, and then it'll click and things will become clearer. The mists will lift. I'll see things more sharply. And then I can put that material aside, those notes aside, and I can start writing in the third person. I've always personally found writing in the third person and the past tense the easiest.